Hey, what's up everybody? I'd said on my Oatman trip video that if I had enough time, I would try and do another video at least showing you some of what Oatman looks like, and that didn't happen. That damn camera, man, you get anywhere close to 20 minutes, and I was just doing the low resolution on it, just 640 by 480, and it will fill up a gigabyte sized memory card, so can't win. So gonna at least show you the stuff that I picked up there. One of the things, at least, as in the other thing is wrapped around my pants right now, as in I go there to get my leather belts, as in I can get a nice one for cheap, and I think they raised the price maybe a little bit. I'm pretty sure I got it cheaper last time I was there and had to get a belt, which was over 10 years ago, so obviously they've had to raise the price, but $20 got me a really nice one. And another reason I went there, I knew I'd be able to find a nice gun holster, as in it's a redneck town and they all got guns, so figured that was the place to go. I went to my gun shop and they had a box full of old ones, and they were wanting like $35 and more for old beat up freaking holsters. Screw that. So anyways, I scored, as in I got one for the same price that I paid for my belt, and it's a nice looking one. Anyways, this is what I got, which see that it's got all the nice purdy stuff stamped into it, and nice deep stamping. It's not just light like I see on a lot of stuff. It's nice heavy stamps to where the picture, I guess that's, looks more like feathering, like they tried to do like a feather or something on it, or I don't know. But anyways, it looks really nice, and looks even nicer with my 1958 BB gun in it, so it really looked nice hanging up on my wall. That's what I wanted, was one so I can hang both of them up side by side, and they both have a nice holster. And on this is one of those things to where if they don't have what you want, ask. Especially in that town, as in she had this behind the counter. She had a bunch of them kind of on a pillar, just wrapped around it, all different styles, all handmade there, where it was the gun holster and the nice belt to go with it, and they were all $100 and up. So I think the reason they were priced at that was because it was ones that they made, and some of them were anywhere from this fancy up to really fancy, to where they'd have like silver nickels and stuff stitched into it or whatnot, and just really fancy. So, don't know how much one of those cost to get the full belt and everything, but maybe the place to go if you guys are ever out that way and want to find a nice one. Is in she had plenty of choices. And there was another place that had just the plain old holsters like this, which was the first one I went into, so I knew I was in the right place. And the cheapest one I looked at was $17, and it was just a black holster, but nothing like this. Not fancy, not even minutely fancy. It was just plain black leather, no straps or anything on it. Back loop was just stitched right here, just enough to get your belt through. Didn't have any leg ties, just pretty plain. So if that's good enough, man, you can get them cheaper. And she had other ones too, and I didn't even bother to look at them because they were totally the wrong size, but she had some new made ones, and then she had some older ones mixed in. And all the older ones were for pretty long barrel guns, but they were kind of nice looking, just a little bit tattered. Anyways, actually not speaking of this one, more speaking of this one, as in, it doesn't matter where I go in Arizona when I can go somewhere away from Kingman. I always run into the stupidest person in the town, or maybe their sister or brother, or mother or father, or their dog, I don't know. Then went across the street, damn near directly across the street from the leather shop, and a lot of the stores had those replica guns to where everything on it works, but the metal's kind of low quality. As in, they had most of them to where it was just real low quality looking metal, like almost pop metal. And then they had some that were painted black, or some that were a little bit fancier, to where you feel like you got the real gun, but it's just for looks. And a lot of them had them up on the wall or for sale or whatever. Anyways, this lady had about 5 of them just in a row going down the wall, and I thought they were for sale. So I went over, and it was like, damn, that looks familiar. She had the 22 pellet version of this, as in I guess it was 70s, man, as in it pretty much looked completely like this one, just pellet instead of BB. So naturally I wanted to look at it, so I grabbed it and started looking it over, and immediately it's like, oh, it's not for sale. That's just the decoration. That's not for sale. And it's like, oh, that's all right. I'm just looking at it because I just found a couple weekends ago at my swap meet, and I wanted to see what this one looked like. As in, mine are the BB version, and she wasn't hearing a friggin' thing I was saying, and it wasn't like she was far away and had customers. She was 5 fucking feet away from me, and it was just going through one ear and out the other like a goddamn bullet. I don't know if it was bong resin in there, blocking input, or Budweiser, or what. I don't know, but she was freaking ignorant. And it's like I was trying to be nice, saying, oh, you may have something here. And it's like, I just asking her where you got it. Like, oh, it's not for sale. It's like everything I asked her, man, that's not for sale. Instead of, oh, thank you for telling me that. Like I said, it's like, this is probably from the early 70s or late 60s, like 68 or 69 almost. And so, oh yeah, it might be pretty old. And it's like, lady, I just gave you the years, as in I got one, and I don't know, brain farts, I don't know. But it's like, I was looking it over, and this one I touched up a little bit with some black paint. As in, it just had a few little spots, and it still has a few little spots that I ran out of paint, so got to get some more. As in, I was just using black Rust-Oleum that I knew would stick to the metal good. But the one there, man, it wasn't in that bad a condition at all. It had a few spots where the paint was coming on, but whoever had it took care of it. Don't know if it would work if I popped a CO2 in it, but it was in good enough shape to where I was willing to just say, hey, lady, would you take this much money for it? And same words out of her mouth, this ain't for sale. So it's like, okay, screw you. You're too stupid to take my money, so bye. At least I got to look at it. And just for anybody that's wanting one of these, just my own opinion, I like the BB gun better. Kind of like comparing it to the one my dad gave me. That's from the 70s. The pellet gun version, as I thought, it's got like a little slide thing that's on a spring that you pull back, and then you just feed in each pellet. As in, it's only 6 shot. And it's just a little bit chunkier. Not much, but just a little bit. As in, it's 22 caliber, so a little bit bigger on this. But otherwise, looks identical. As in, I used it with the new holster here, and it fit in it perfect, so about the same size. And all I can hope for is that she wasn't the store owner. As in, the owner cannot be that freaking stupid to turn down a sale. As in, I was definitely showing interest, and she didn't want to sell it, period. And she didn't even know anything about it. It's like, oh, it's part of the wall, so I don't want to get rid of it. All the drywall come up. It ties everything together. I hate stupid people. But definitely makes me want to go back maybe even next month, and hopefully she won't be there, and see if maybe I can pick it up, because it would be cool to have different variations. Anyways, on other stuff, it is kind of a tourist trap, but on like the gift shops and everything, unless it's just one of those full-blown ones to where it's definitely a tourist type thrift shop to where they got like Arizona shirts or Oatman shirts or whatever, and not just odds and ends type thing, as in some of them are kind of half tourist, half junk store. As in, there was one where this guy was drunk off his ass, inebriated, and he had all kinds of knives and stuff, and whole freaking just pile of pocket knives stuck in a display, just kind of like just pick through it. And prices weren't too bad on that kind of stuff, and like $20 for the holster. So it kind of depends on what shop you go to on the prices. Some are real generous, some of them jack their prices up, as in like if you're into these type of t-shirts, especially the ones where it's like the stonewash type tie-dye with like really cool dragons, and I mean really cool looking dragons, or just mythical type stuff like naked warrior chicks or whatever, man, cool stuff like that, skulls, whatever. There was one store that had some really wicked ones, and I almost bought one. It's like, screw it, I ain't gonna spend $20 on a shirt, but nice shirt for $20. Most of the others, it was less than 20, depending on like if it was just a shirt with Arizona on it or whatever. All kinds of Indian stuff. If you're into Indian type jewelry, tons. And that's pretty much not just Oatman. That's any of our little historical type towns, like Prescott or whatever, man. Any of the gift shop type places always have that type. But they had some that was local made. Really, really nice Indian jewelry, to where all silver bracelets with all the stones set in, were like squash blossom necklaces and stuff like that, man. Definite hippie Indian type jewelry. So if you're into that kind of shit, good place to go. If you like the smell of a donkey's ass, better place to go. There may be fewer, as in some of them were being deported, as in everybody's like, oh, where are you taking the donkeys? Same people that just got the living shit scared out of themselves by the fucking donkeys. But big ass truck going through with about 10 of them in the back of it, government truck, to where all they do is just take them out into the desert and set them free, far, far away from Oatman, so they won't bug people. Because speaking of the donkeys, man, while I was in the leather store, man, there was one right there at the door, full-grown donkey, sticking its nose to the door. Hey, got any shit for me, man? Finally, it's like, okay, fuck it, I'm gonna see if they got any shit for me. And walking through the damn store, man. That's one of the thrills of going there. And all of them are tame as hell, and that's the problem. They're getting too domesticated to where they cannot take care of themselves out in the wild. They're expecting somebody to feed them, and that's not good. As in all the baby donkeys, they had them all over, and they literally had a sticker on the forehead saying, "Don't feed me, even if I'm cute," written on the bottom like somebody did it in ink, just to add to it, so somebody doesn't, "Oh, why'd you put a sticker on it? That's animal cruelty." I got fucking cats, man. I put stickers on them all the time because it's fucking hysterical, and it's got to be funnier on a donkey. And they didn't give a shit. Most of them were just laying around, kicking it, man, so they didn't care. But that's been the problem. Everybody's feeding them, and especially the babies. It doesn't teach them how to take care of themselves, and when they get out in the wild, they die because they're expecting somebody to feed them. So shit like that. Well, I'm already at 14 minutes here, so I'm going to quit carrying on. And so, man, good place to take a trip, man, if you've never been there and you're at my part of Arizona. And like I say, that road that I took, that's the windy one. The other two ways to get there, pretty much straight shot, man. None of that stuff if you've got a big motorhome or whatever. If you're a biker, take the road that I took. Half the videos I've watched here are biker videos, man, where they're filming their ride, and I can tell it is funner and shit on a bike. So, bikers definitely. Later.